What's up, guys, and welcome to the channel. This is Tyler Tote. My family took an awesome little impromptu vacation last weekend where honestly it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and my wife and I decided we see Legoland tickets. It's their 25th anniversary. They're selling tickets for 25 bucks. That's 90% off or 80% off what they usually are. And so the cool thing was we just decided to take our kids out of school for a day, hit the road Thursday afternoon after they were done with school, drive over, rent a cheap Airbnb, take them to Legoland for the day, take them to the ocean the next day. Made a lot of fun memories, had a really, really awesome trip. Even driving home, my wife just made the comment, I almost feel guilty that we get to go do a lot of these fun things and, some other people don't. And, I looked over at her and I said, for 6.5 years, I worked a job that I really didn't like at all. I wasn't good at. I just grinded that job. And, for our whole life together, my wife and I, 10 years, I've sold the fancy watches I used to have are now cheap old Fitbits, tracked steps. I used to wear Armani clothes and Prada shoes, and now it's my men's group, the Arena t-shirt that I get for $5. We've downgraded our lifestyle, and I won't say we've become minimalists. We still live in a nice home in a nice neighborhood. I think that's important with kids to be in a safe spot. But man, we drive 10-year-old cars. My wife doesn't wear fancy jewelry. We just don't have a lot of stuff. In fact, sometimes when people come into our neighborhood, we're playing with the kids outside or whatever, and we'll invite their families over or whatnot. People walk in and be like, "Oh, did you just move in here?" And we're like, "Nah, we just don't like a lot of stuff. We don't have a lot of stuff." If you were to walk around our house, our couch, man, we got off Facebook Marketplace for a couple $100. Our dining room table, my wife refurbished for $25. We got this thing from Goodwill. And we've just made a very intentional choice to be able to live a life like we want, where, hey, we never have to ask off for time. We just leverage money as a tool and a resource to be able to buy freedom and buy a life that we want. This morning, I just finished, I took a walk this morning, hit a lift, got to drop both my kids off at school. My wife is over at my daughter's school volunteering and talking about a career day. This afternoon, we're going to do a bunch of family activities, got some cool things scheduled. And we really wanted to create this life where we're not confined. I don't have to ask permission to go take a trip. I don't have to ask permission to do anything. As I look out over the landscape of where our culture is and our society is, I feel like that's a big, big missing piece for a lot of people. We're taught from a very early age, man, the new car will make you happy. The fancy watch will make you happy. The designer clothes will make you happy. And I'll be honest, guys, it does. It gives you a temporary dopamine hit. But once that wears off, deep down inside, are you really happy if you have to keep doing it? And the older I get, wise age of 40 now, I really have unlearned a lot of this crap that I believe we're taught, that consumerism just makes us happy. And we're programmed from such a young age to really buy into that lie. It keeps a lot of people on a hamster wheel their whole life. I remember working at corporate, and I came home 2 years down the road, and I had met a lot of people that had been there for 30, 40 years. Oh, I'm just grinding it out till retirement. I got 12 years left. And I heard the same story, and I could kind of see lackadaisical looks in people's eyes. It's just like, I don't want to be here, but I'm trading my most precious commodity, time, for dollars. And I just remember telling my wife, I don't accept that. It might be normal for most people to just work a job that they don't necessarily love until they're 65. But man, life expectancy is 76. That's not a good deal. And it might be normal for people to work 5 or 6 days a week to get that 1 or 2 off. I don't accept that. That's not a good deal. And it might be normal for people to say, man, if I work really hard these 50 weeks, I get 2 weeks vacation, or 49, I get 3 weeks vacation. And I don't accept that as normal. So I told my wife, we're going to get really intentional, and we're going to cut down our budget, and we're going to start to use money and buy assets, produce income while we sleep. We're going to change some things. And I remember at 34, 35 years old, really, really doubling down on this. And guys, we've gotten to the point where our monthly nut now with a family of 5 it's ridiculously low. It's crazy. If I told people, they probably wouldn't even believe it. But it doesn't cost us a lot of money day to day to live. Even very intentionally with a lot of the choices. I love golf, to be quite honest. I had custom clubs built when I was in my 20s, and I lived on a golf course and played all the time and had memberships and flew to different places to play golf, and just made the choice in my mid 30s to sell the clubs. I like playing pickleball nearly or more as much, and that's free. We just had a lot of these little shifts. And again, not that there's anything wrong with golf. I love golf. There'll probably be a season of my life down the line where I play a lot more. We just decided that, we didn't want to be those people. Oh, it's Monday again. I never know what day it is. I know we go to church on Saturday, so that kind of resets me. But to be honest, we just wanted this kind of life. And I would urge anybody watching this, I don't say this saying my way's better than anybody's. I just think that for a long time, I was programmed, and I think most of us are, to really just consume, consume, consume. We get paid, we buy. We get paid, we get new stuff, we upgrade stuff. And I'd see people in this trap, man. They buy this new car and it's a $900 a month car payment. And I've heard this dude tell me for 2 straight years, I hate my job. It just sucks. I'm missing all the best parts of my life. And well, bro, now you got a $900 a month car payment for 6 years. Instead, can you drive a less car and pay yourself that 900 bucks and eventually buy your freedom? So, I say this message, if somebody's out here watching this and they're like, well, this guy's kind of a jerk because I like my job. Awesome, man. I will cheer for you. If you're doing things that you feel passionate about, you feel alive about, you're not one of these, oh, it's only Wednesday, only 2 more days till the weekend kind of people. That's awesome, man. I'll always pat you on the back, give you a big bear hug and say, keep going, crush it. Do what you love best. But Joe Rogan had a quote that he said, I think we see so many people on meds nowadays, so many people depressed, and they live quiet lives of desperation. They sleep at night, they wake up, they mindlessly scroll their phone or read about the news, and they sit in a car in traffic, drive to a job they don't like. They sit at their desk all day, do things that aren't really meaningful. They don't get to use any creativity or any kind of part of that. Then they sit in traffic on the way home, and they get home, they sit and they watch TV. And they repeat this cycle with this weird thing. Well, at least I get to buy a new car every 6 years. At least we get to take a fun family vacation once a year. I just don't accept that as normal. And I'd say to anybody watching this today, I drew my line in the sand and said, I don't care what it costs me. It might cost me golf, which I kind of like, but I can replace that with other things I like just as well. It might cost me new cars, so I don't get pat on the backs from people saying, oh, nice car, this or that. It's funny to me when people congratulate people on, oh, great job, you bought the Tesla. Nice, man. Great, bro. Now you're paying 900 bucks a month to this car company and you're paying $60,000 for some car that's taking you to a job that you don't love. Who's wealthier? That's the question I'd pose today. Is it the guy who gets to stay home and take his kids to school and take walks with his wife and have afternoon delights and do all the things he wants to do with his family, and he has freedom of time, and he drives an old car and he doesn't have the nice watch and the nice clothes? Or is it the person that's, has the expensive suit, the important job title, but dude, they're there 60 hours a week and they're missing the best parts of life? Now, again, if you're a person who loves working 60 hours a week and loves that, and you feel like that gives you fuel and purpose, by all means, keep doing it, crush it. But I think I'm talking to a lot of people out there, man, because I worked in corporate 6.5 years. I saw a lot of people. I would say 90% of the people I worked with didn't want to be there. Oh, dude, that's only Thursday. We got, 12 more hours till we're free for the weekend, right? I'd hear this stuff over and over again. If you find yourself in that camp, just look around. Like, walk around your house today and look around and just ask yourself, is the expensive stuff worth it? Or can you take a step back? Can you zoom out and start to unlearn and say, you know what? Maybe every year, instead of spending the 10,000 on a family vacation, we spend 2 and we pay ourselves 8. And now, you know what? If I do the math and I look at that, that gets me out of work 3 years sooner. So now I ain't retiring at 65, I'm down to 62. And you know what? Maybe if we don't upgrade cars like we do, we can knock that back to 57. And you know what? Maybe if we don't, and you just keep going down the line like my wife and I did, and we really cut our expenses so much to where, I'll be honest, guys, I'm probably a year away, maybe less, from never having to work again. If I don't choose to, our passive income will cover the bills. Now, I love doing the things I do, and I truthfully feel like I'm making a big impact working with people I love on things I love. And so I don't ever plan on retiring. I'm not a kind of guy who just put me on a beach and sip margaritas. I'll do that for about 4 days. Then I'll want to go be impactful and help people again. But I just urge you today, if you're watching this family vacation, that conversation with my wife on the ride home just really sparked something in me that I feel like so many people are just on this hamster wheel. And you keep doing what you keep doing because bosses say it's normal, colleagues say it's normal, your parents say it's normal. Like, look, I freaked my parents out when I drove home from college at 20 years old and said, I quit. I'm making a lot of money at poker. I want to live this lifestyle where I get to travel all over the world and do that. And I should have been a lot more wise with my money I was making back then. But I think I freaked my parents out again when I was 36, 37 and said, yeah, I got this good job managing an important bank and doing this, but I quit. This is the direction I'm going to go. I'm going to have full autonomy over my time. I didn't need my parents to affirm me. I didn't need colleagues to affirm me. My boss told me, once you quit, you never come back. See you, bro. I don't need anybody around me to think what I'm doing works. I just need myself to be really happy. I need my family and the people around these walls to understand that we're living and creating and intentionally driving our life, and we have full autonomy over our time. So I'd ask you to zoom out today, man. The first step, and I made a great video on this that's been viewed a couple thousand times on the channel. I'd urge you, if you haven't watched it, it's called Perfect Day. I start a lot of clients with this. Hey, man, if I could just, boo, I'm a genie and I could put $10 million in your bank today, and you never again had to trade time for money, what would you do? What would your day-to-day life look like? My wife and I made our first one 5 years ago. It is almost exactly what we are doing today. Guys, it's never been easier to create and carve and learn. There's so much knowledge and information out there now. If anybody needs help getting started after this, shoot me a message. I'm happy to help where I can. But I truly believe everybody has this thing deep inside them that, man, if I'm going to some place I don't love, it's stifling your creativity. It's stifling the best you. So it's my hope that anybody watching this that wants to be free would be free. And anybody who decides on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, hey, we want to pull the kids out of school and go do this fun adventure and go make some awesome memories, would have the freedom and flexibility to do that. So guys, much love. And again, I don't say my way is best for anybody but me. But if you feel some kind of tug in there today saying, man, I don't accept this as normal. I'm not going to do this till I'm 60 in my 60s. Start to dig your way out. Start to unlearn it. When I first started Twitter and social media, if I'm very honest, I was like, well, right now I'm gonna have to work until about 59. Done the math, and I'm like, maybe if I just sell some ebooks here and there, I could reduce that number to 57. That was a goal. But once you start working on things you feel super passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. People ask me, how often do you work, Ty? I'm like, none. I don't know. I don't, man. I'm running around on men's retreats with dudes I love, pouring into them, praying with them, racing up mountains, lifting weights. I'm on calls with guys I love that are sharpening me. I'm sharpening them. I'm running a men's community with my best buddy, Mike. I get to do things all day that I love doing. It doesn't feel like work. So I'd urge you to think about how you can create a life like that as well. Guys, I love you to death. I hope everybody out there has the greatest day. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Start to unlearn what society brainwashed us for 18 years or 22 years, whatever it is, and start to be the driver of your life. Don't be a passenger. A good measure of how successful you are, in my opinion, is how much freedom you have over your time. What do you have to do every day? Where do they tell you have to be, you have to wear you, or what do you get to control, right? Are you sovereign over how many minutes of your day? And so that's a pretty good metric that I've used to determine really how wealthy I am, is how much freedom I have over my time. And so I'd urge you to start to think in those terms, start to unlearn some of that other stuff and create your best life, baby. So you guys go have the greatest day of your life. Much love.